Since I became Prime Minister, I've said we must get on and get Brexit done on October the 31st so that this country can move on.
Sir, my amendment is that Mr. President should be invited to come and explain the situation.
For the Nigerian government to stop killing its people and
We anchor on the facts, breaking news, and in-depth interviews on a wide range of topics.
Atlantic Television Network, home for in-depth reportage, facts, professionalism, all the news you need. Atlantic Television Network. Atlantic Television Network.
Atlantic Television Network, anchoring facts.
From the land across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring on-spot news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, social.
Telling him not to counterpunch.
Welcome to yet another edition of Sports Talk on Atlantic Television. On this edition of the program, we'll be looking at the emergence of the fastest man and woman on planet Earth. And of course, we look at how Team Nigeria is performing so far at the Olympic Games that is just a couple of days away to being rounded up for yet another 4 years. Details of this and many more will be yours in a jiffy. But first, we would like to introduce to you Mary J, who is here with me this morning.
It's a nice time to be here. The world of sports keeps evolving, and whenever we come off the back of an exciting weekend where we had so many winners and so many things to report, it's always nice to be on Sports Extraordinary. Well,
like I mentioned, the fastest man and woman has emerged so far, but we'll first of all review Team Nigeria's performance at the Olympic Games. It's getting very worrisome to most Nigerians that Nigeria is yet to register our name on the medals table at the Olympic Games. What could be responsible for this lackluster performance by Team Nigeria?
A lot of factors. Some of them could have been avoidable, some of them unforeseen, but a lot of factors indeed. At the Olympic Games, we knew about throughout last week what was making the rounds when it came to Nigerian athletes at the Olympic Games was the ruling 10 athletes being ruled ineligible to compete because they did not complete the 3 mandatory out of competition testing before the Olympic Games. That one could be avoidable. Secondly, like I said, some things unforeseen. We've had some injuries that were unforeseen. We didn't expect to have those injuries, but we've had them, and then our athletes have had to pull out of the Olympic Games. And basically, but in a nutshell, our main bane has been the same thing that has hampered us in previous Olympic Games, which has been a lack of preparation or a lack of adequate preparation. Because I think this time the contingent to the Olympic Games, they were prepared, but just in a little space, just a little time, not adequate preparation when you compare to the level and the years of preparation that have been put in place by the medalists that we've seen at the Tokyo Games so far. So a lot of factors really.
Well, a lot of factors have been responsible for Nigeria's poor performance, at least up till this point at the Olympic Games. We are yet to register, our names on the medals table. But the face of the Olympic often is the sprint, and that is the 100 meters that throws off the fastest man and the fastest woman at this time on the planet Earth. But meanwhile, before we get to who has emerged fastest as among the male and female, Team Nigeria, we saw Divine Oduduru being disqualified at his 5 of the men's events at the 100 meters. What really happened to Divine Oduduru?
Divine Oduduru was disqualified from the semi-finals of the men's, the heat actually. It was in the heat, the first heat. After we had the Shekiri qualify, after we had Enoch Adegoke qualify, we were looking up to Divine Oduduru because he, before the Olympic Games, was the fastest Nigerian for the year 2021. And we hoped that he could make it into the semi-finals and eventually the finals. But unfortunately for us, he was disqualified for a false start. Now, in previous years at the Olympic Games, if you go back in 2004, 2008, 2012, the rules were more lenient for people who engage in false starts, because you do that the first time, you get a reprimand, and when you do that the second time, then you get disqualified. But right now is you have just one chance. Once you commit the offense once you commit a false start once, you get disqualified, and that's what happened in the case of Divine Oduduru. On the day, it wasn't just him disqualified though. There was a Togolese athlete who also got disqualified because of a false start, still in the same lane as Divine Oduduru. And then in the semi-finals, we also saw another athlete disqualified for a false start from the same lane too. So a lot of people, a lot of pundits, a lot of supporters, a lot of fans are looking at it and saying maybe there was something wrong with that lane too, because you can't have 3 people disqualified in the men's 100 meters all coming from lane 2. And then but it's the reality of things. He wasn't going to take part in the semi-finals, and maybe if he had, that's wishful thinking now, maybe if he had, we would have been on the podium, because we saw what we saw from the men's 100 meters finals wasn't the best we've seen in recent times, but then it is what it is.
Well, it is what it is, but let's get to the 100 meters proper now. Only a couple of hours ago, we saw the 100 meters event in the male decided. Let's start with the male. And it was another misfortune for Team Nigeria, because a Nigerian athlete that made it up to the final, the very final of the Olympic Games, had to pull out because of injury concerns. Talking about Enoch Adegoke, he pulled out midway from what looks like an advantage position to the podium.
Enoch Adegoke, it was a sad story. I watched that, and he had a good start to the finals. Enoch Adegoke has been, should I say, a revelation at the Olympic Games, qualifying to the Olympics with a time of 10 seconds, 10.00 seconds on the dot, going to the Olympic Games and with his first race reducing that time to 9.98 seconds, coming into the semi-finals, and also in a star-studded lineup found his way to the finals. Remember, in the semi-finals he had a certain Trayvon Bromell, who before the Olympic Games was the world's fastest man. He had Trayvon Bromell in the same lineup with him in the semi-finals, but he was able to come ahead of Trayvon Bromell, getting himself into the finals. And then we were hopeful. And when the race started, after the Great Britain, Zaniel Hughes was disqualified and the race started properly, he starting in lane 7 was he had a good start. He had a good start, and he was within shout of a podium finish, at least a third place finish, because he was quite well ahead of Andre De Grasse, who ended up finishing with a bronze medal. But I think about 50 meters into the race, that's halfway into the race, he pulled up with what looked like a hamstring injury, and it was a sad moment for Nigeria, because it was looking like our first medal at the Olympic Games, because like I said, he was well ahead of Andre De Grasse, who finished in third place. And if he had continued in that momentum, he would have finished possibly in third place or in second place. We're not talking about the gold medal now, maybe a third place finish or maybe a second place finish. But unfortunately for him, our misfortunes at the Olympic Games keeps piling up, and this one for an unforeseen and really terrible circumstance. I really feel sad for Adegoke.
Really sad. Okay, now let's get at the fastest man at the world at this time. It's no other than Lamont, of Italy. Surprisingly, he finished the 100 meters event at a time of 9.80 seconds. Not good enough to torpedo Usain Bolt's record, but it looks like a surprise to the whole world that it was Italian, not American or Jamaican, that won the 100 meters. This is a fresh of breath air when it comes to 100 meters. The time not particularly very striking. It didn't break the world record. But this is somebody that just came into the sprint race only about 2 years ago.
Only about 2 years ago, he was competing in the jumps. He was a long jumper before switching in 2018 to the 100 meters, the 100 meter sprint. And like you said, it was a remarkable feat for him and for Italy, for the entire of Europe, because it's been a very long time since we saw a European win a 100 meter sprint. But it was, like you said, not the best 100 meter dash we've seen in recent years. I know we've been spoiled really when you look at the 100 meters because of the quality of Usain Bolt, the quality that Usain Bolt provided us with between 2008 and 2016, which was the last Olympic Games. Usain Bolt made it look like the other competitors in the previous 100 meters championships were not good enough, and he has made it look like Jacobs 9.80 seconds is not good enough still, because Usain Bolt ran as fast as 9.58 seconds, 9.61 seconds in the 100 meter sprint. So that is quite a wide gap considering the gold medalist for this year, 9.80. But for the man like Marcel Jacobs, it was a great achievement. When you best a field, he's never been on the podium at the Olympic Games in the 100 meter sprint before. And when you have a field that included Andre De Grasse, who was bronze medalist in 2016 behind Usain Bolt, it's a daunting lineup. So you're not favorites for that, but then he took it in his strides, ignoring the fact that he's never been on the podium, ignoring the fact that there were more experienced sprinters in that lineup, and he got the first medal. He got what is now Europe's fastest time. There's never been anyone in the history of athletics from the European continents to run 9.80 seconds. So he's got the new European record now, and the second fastest time 2021. The fastest time going into the Olympic Games was held by Trayvon Bromell, and then he was overwhelming favorite to go on and win the 100 meter dash. He clocked 9.77 in qualifying for the Olympic Games, but he didn't get anywhere 9.8 even from heat 1 and its semifinals at the Olympic Games. So an absurd turn of events. We were expecting to see the Jamaicans, the Americans, and probably the Brits on the podium at the Olympic Games when it comes to the 100 meters men's final, but it wasn't to be. We saw an Italian on the podium. We saw a Fred Curley from the United States coming up in second place, and Andre De Grasse, again a bronze medalist in 2021. So that's how it panned out, and it was it's been an Olympics where we've seen revelation upon revelation, and this one I'd like to say was one of them.
Revelation at the Olympic Games, and it is an Italian that won the 100 meters. He is the fastest man right now in the world at the time of 9.80 seconds. Not good enough to take away Usain Bolt's record. So I'm very sure one man that will be happy at the end of the day is Usain Bolt, that his record is still intact, and that will be broken maybe some other time. But let's go to the issue of the female fastest right now in the world. It wasn't no surprise. It was 100% Jamaican, first, second, and third.
Jamaican still locking it down, still doing the business in women's 100 meter sprint. They will still be in action in the women's 200 meters, so we'll see how that one pans out. We know that they've dominated both sprint events, the 100 meters and the 200 meters, both in male and female. We're seeing a different lineup this time in male, but nothing different in female. It was all dominant from the Jamaicans. First place Jamaican, second place Jamaican, third place Jamaican. First place was Elaine Thompson-Herah, who came into the Olympic Games as the women's 200 meters world champion. Not the 100 meters, but the 200 meters. The 100 meters favorite going to the Olympic Games was Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce. We know that she's quite aged now, about 34 years of age. And going into the Olympic Games, she clocked 10.63 seconds, which made her the second fastest woman on earth. And she was overwhelming favorite to go on and win the gold at the Olympic Games. But that lady, Elaine Thompson-Herah, had something different at the back of her mind, because now she finished the race with a time of 10.61 seconds, and that has now made her the second fastest woman in the history of sports, and the fastest woman alive, current fastest woman alive. 10.61 seconds tied her with the Olympic record that was set as far back as 1988 by Florence Griffiths Joyner, and that makes her, she has the Olympic record and current fastest woman on the planet.
Talking about fastest woman on the planet, the one we had before was Joyner. He mentioned there, and it was 10.63 seconds. And it's really disturbing for me, because Nigeria's Blessing Okagbare actually posted the same 10.63 in Lagos just before the Olympic Games, though winner assisted, and now she wasn't at the very final because of doping issues. And the person who is fastest right now alive on earth is Thompson with 10.61 seconds. That is a new record, a record that has been broken, that has been in place for the last 33 years, now being broken. And so I think it's a good one for Jamaica. It's still Jamaican sweep. The 200 meters is yet to come, but we know they too will push on that. We're talking about 200 meters. A Nigerian lady is in the 200 meters event.
Yeah, a Nigerian lady, Grace Nwokocha. You would remember her from the 100 meter events, because she was part of the 100 meters, of course. She and Blessing Okagbare actually took part in the heats in the 100 meters. Both of them qualified for the semi-finals, but after Blessing Okagbare was provisionally suspended by the AIU, the Athletics Integrity Unit, Grace Nwokocha took part in the semi-finals of the 100 meters. Could not make it into the finals of the 100 meters, but now, and she's also now into the finals of the 200 meters event, because she ran earlier today. She ran in the heats, the first heat in the 200 meter dash, and she came third place. She placed third, and you might start, if you heard that she placed third, you start asking why didn't she finish in the top two positions. But third was enough to get her into the semi-finals. But let me tell you why she wasn't able to finish in the first two, because she was behind the current world's fastest woman in 200 meters, which is Tshwane Muliawibo from the Bahamas, and behind Marie-Josée Tolu of the Ivory Coast. These two are powerhouses. A star-studded lineup it was, but she was able to go ahead of the rest of the pack. The remainder of the six, it was a lineup of 6 sprinters. She was able to come up in top 3 behind the two fastest women in 200 meters right now. So I think it was a good one for her. She also recorded what is now her personal best time. So it's good omens. When you get a personal best time, like we saw from Enoch Adegoke, he got his personal best time in the heat. It spurred him to do better in the semi-finals and eventually went on to the finals. We just hope that it spurs her to do better in the semi-finals, and pray that the same incident that happened to Enoch Adegoke does not repeat itself for Grace Nwokocha. She's had a good showing at the Olympic Games so far, her first time at the Olympic Games, and we hope for better turnout.
Well, talking about Nigeria's performance at the Olympic Games, we are yet to register our name on the medals table, but Tobi Amusa looks closest, and are we disappointed?
Yeah, quite disappointed, because it's one of those events where we felt like we had a strong claim for a medal, gold, silver or bronze. It could have gone either way. Tobi Amusa, she has projected herself to the world stage. She has made herself one of the biggest contenders in every event, whether it be the Diamond League, the Commonwealth Games, or even the Olympic Games, because currently she's ranked in world number 4. And I don't know if she has something for the number 4, because she finished 4th in the semi-finals, she finished 4th in the finals proper. I don't know if it's because she's world number 4, but then at world number 4, it means that you are amongst the top 5 athletes in that discipline. And we know that the top 5 athletes, any of them has the opportunity to finish on the podium, be it first, second, or third. And she finished with 12.60 seconds in the 100-meter women's 100-meter hurdles, and it was just 0.05 seconds off third place. So it was agonizingly close, but then not good enough.
Not good enough. And talking about not good enough reminds me of the basketball team of Team Nigeria, both male and female. The last game that involved the female saw the Tigress lost to Japan 102-83, meaning that all of them, the male team, the D Tigers, and the female, the Tigress, they have lost all their games. They played 6 games at the Olympic Games, and now they've lost all. And the expectations were that at least if they did not win, come to the podium, they will at least win a couple of games out of the 6.
Would at least win a couple of games, 1 game, 2 games out of the 6, probably get into the quarterfinals and maybe do as far as getting to the semifinals, because the team we saw, especially from the male team, we saw experienced players that play in the NBA. And when you talk about basketball globally, the NBA is the biggest league. It's actually the pinnacle of basketball, except for the Olympic Games and the FIBA World Cup. The NBA comes next. When we had 8 players from the NBA into the D Tigers team for the Olympic Games, they went to the exhibition, defeated the United States of America, defeated Argentina, lost to Australia, and we looked like, okay, if we were going to lose at the Olympic Games, knowing fully well that we had Australia in the group, maybe we'd lose to Australia, but maybe not lose to Germany and Italy. But it was not quite what we saw from the reality of things. We went into the Olympic Games, the first game, I think we even did better in the first game, considering the fact that we lost narrow points margin to Australia. Got into the second game, we were hopeful against Germany, still lost to Germany by 9 points. Got into the third and final game against Italy. I knew it was a long shot, hoping to win Italy, and then the Italians showed us that they were not quite in our bracket when it comes to the Olympic Games, and that's how the men's team lost all games. For the women, the first game started with the United States of America. The Tigers went up against the United States of America. Gave a good fight. They were losing at some point by 29 points. They cut that 29 points to just a paltry, I think, 11 points for the entire game, winning 2 quarters out of 4. We thought it was a positive sign going forward. They led the Americans to the record highest turnover since the history of female basketball at the Olympic Games. And when you do that against a team that had won the 5 previous gold medals at the Olympic Games, you think there is something you have to build on. But that wasn't the case. We got into the second game against France, lost to France, and the final game this morning, losing to the host nation, Japan, by 19 points. You think out of the 3 picks in the team, we could have been able to defeat Japan, but then the reality of the things is that since the Olympics in 2004, Nigeria's women basketball has not won a single game till now.
Woes for Team Nigeria at the Tokyo Olympic Games, and it looks very disappointing, but we still have some ray of hope, and this is coming in from weightlifting and wrestling.
Oh, wrestling, yes. We've been waiting for our wrestlers who, in my opinion, and I think a lot of Nigerian supporters will actually align with my opinion, is that we have the best prepared contingent when you talk about our wrestlers, because they've been in competition for quite a while. They have consistently been some of the top ranked wrestlers on the African continent and even the world rankings as well. Blessing Oborodudu, who was in action earlier today, a couple of months back when she competed at the Poland ranking series, she finished second. And when you go to a World Series and you finish second, it means that you're doing something good. And she has shown that in the round of 16, she defeated her opponent by a very overwhelming margin, 13 points to 2, and that was a good one for her. It took her into the quarterfinals. She defeated her opponent in the quarterfinals, the Kyrgyzstani opponent, by 3 points to 2. And now she's into the semifinals. That one takes place later today. We'll keep our eyes peeled for it. But it means that she has the opportunity now to win a medal in the women's 68 kg category. Because if she wins the semifinals, she goes to the gold medal match. And in the gold medal match, you must come out a winner, because you either take gold or you take silver. if she loses the semi-finals, which we hope not, she goes to the bronze medal match, and you have the opportunity to win the bronze. We've been itching for our first medal. The Olympic Games is just about 7 days to the close of the Olympic Games, and if we need to get a medal, we have to get it now, and it's looking very promising when it comes to our wrestlers at the Olympic Games.
That's our review for Team Nigeria at the Olympic Games, and of course, a revelation about the fastest man and the fastest woman right now on the planet Earth. Nigeria's only hope of getting a medal looks like from wrestling, and like we mentioned there, it could be the bronze medal. We don't know yet, but we'll keep our fingers crossed. In the next couple of hours, that will be revealed, and that will be it for this morning. Definitely we'll return back in the afternoon for more deep analysis on sports latest happening. Thank you, and stay with us.
From the lines across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring all sport news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today. Only on ATN.
But I remain committed to the United Kingdom leaving.
Since I became Prime Minister, I've said we must get on and get Brexit done on October the 31st so that this country can move on.